I sit by the stream and listen, lapping the rocks like children's feet padding across the pavement on a summer afternoon. Listen, you can hear the laughter, little giggles jumping and playing as it flows by.
Stream restoration are a special kind of environmental amenity. They have a performative dimension in that narratives of restoration resonate with themes of recovery and redemption. And I think that's one of the most dynamic statements in her entire article. And I think I'll just read it again for emphasis. Stream restorations are a special kind of environmental amenity. They have a performative dimension in that narratives of restoration resonate with themes of recovery and redemption.
I have fallen in love with water because I see it from different perspectives. I see it as a teacher. I see it like a mother, somewhat like something that loves you back because the water embraces you. And I realized, Mindy, that if you abide by the principles that govern water, then water will take good care of you. But if you violate those principles, it will be your nemesis and threaten your life.
When an area becomes more developed, streams and creeks are often a casualty. As urbanization proceeds, a creek tends to recede from view as it is reshaped into a lined channel and later shunted into an underground pipe. What was once a surface water body disappears from view, from the landscape and from memory.
Water is pretty much my compass in life. I was a fish biologist for many years, and an ecologist, and a geographer, so I'm very spatial, but water, it kind of orients me towards what really matters, and rivers especially are really my interest.
I love moving, I love dance, I love expression, and I'm grateful to be able to move, especially at my age, even though I'm not that old.
Global Water Dance is something that was started in 2011 by a group of choreographers, dancers, movers. The idea was every other year do some type of a movement in honor of global water issues.
But it was for a cause, so it wasn't like lights, camera, action showtime. It was like, I hope that what I'm doing is making a difference for someone somewhere in the world.
To support stewardship and care of our resources, our wildlife, our waterways, and our wilderness.
Started with this concept that was started in the 1920s by Rudolf Laban. He came up with this idea about movement choirs, which is basically give a piece of movement simple to democratize movement so more than dancers could dance, and distribute that around the world so everyone does the same movement pieces. The movement pieces that we all did right here were meant to represent scarcity of water. So every choreographer takes the beginning piece, gets music composed, tells their story, and choreographs a piece.
Because it is who we are. It's something for the future for our kids so they can go fishing, so we can enjoy our environment, so we can be outside and really embrace where we live.
And another way to speak what we think is to dance it and to move it. It's about the story and about the personal connection.
Being global to me means all-inclusive. Boundaries are gone, that we all look alike, if you will, but still celebrating, as I mentioned, celebrating those differences and also celebrating those things that are similar with everyone.
Oh, it makes me really happy. It makes me feel really connected to all the other movers and all the other Laban people. We're very passionate about movement for the sake of movement and for therapeutic movement and for advocacy to move through some of these things that we're all very upset about.
I care deeply about, our environment and what we do in the waterways.
To make sure there's fresh drinking water around the world. I I have friends around the world, so it was really special for me to be a part of this today for a lot of different reasons.
Just spread the word to get people to notice their local body of water, to think about what's going on in my region and how does that connect me to the rest of the world. It's all connected, so water is kind of my favorite place to be.
Not so long ago, almost every stream, river, and rill emptying into the North Pacific, from southern Japan to northern Siberia, around the huge Alaskan landmass and the Pacific coast of Canada, all the way to southern California, supported one or more salmon runs perfectly adapted to the dynamic ecology of that watershed. Indigenous cultures from every part of the North Pacific revered the salmon as an uncommonly holy power, ritualizing their respect in ceremonies that honored the first salmon caught in the spring. But how the fish navigate across thousands of miles of ever-shifting and largely featureless ocean to make their way back to the very same coastal point from whence they set out years earlier remains an elemental mystery to us, confounding our primate senses and our terrestrial pedestrian logic. Such a mythic view bound the sensory imagination of the Ainu to the ways of this wild creature.